What makes Australia one of the best places in the world? Okay, so no country's perfect. We're still technically owned by the Brits, our politicians seem to only care about themselves, it's expensive, and we do have poisonous snake spiders and crocs. And that's okay, because if you don't like it, you can leave. Australia as a country is pretty friendly with most of the world, and the Australian passport will grant you access to 190 different destinations around the world. And just like how easy it is to travel, we also accept many other visitors and immigrants from around the world as well, making Australia a vastly multicultural country. Being multicultural has opened up our eyes to different foods and many different cultures as well. So the selection of food that we have on offer now, well, you can't say you're going to go hungry. The majority of people in Australia come from England in some way or the other. And due to famines and past wars, well, English food, it's just rations. So with the introduction of people from many different cultures, we finally learnt what the spice aisle is. Australia is not just a country, but also the largest island. We have a landmass of roughly 8 million square kilometres with a population of only about 27 million people. So that's only about 3.3 people for every kilometre of land. In saying that though, the majority of people live near the major cities, as the middle part of Australia is vastly inhabitable. With being an island, we also have claimed that we have the world's best beaches. And I'm not wrong. The majority of Australian coastline is surrounded by pristine white sand, and that often squeaks under your feet. It's even noted in our national anthem, "I feel so untouched and I want you just..." Wait, hang on, sorry. That's our other national anthem, that's Untouched by the Veronicas. I meant to say, we've got golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea, and whatever the hell girt means, but the fact that we mention the sea in our national anthem just goes to show how proud we are being surrounded by such beautiful beaches and to have access to some pretty amazing sea life. And to top it off, it's free. Australia has free access to our amazing beaches, unlike many other places in the world that'll charge visitors just to take a dip. And for most places, it's also free to park your car at the beach as well. One of the great things about Australia is also the livable wage. Compared to many other places around the world, our minimum wage is one of the highest at $24.10 an hour. That's roughly about $16 in US currency. It's also set to rise in July, which is a month after making this video, by another 3.75% to try and keep up with inflation. So that's a month after making this video. Depending on the type of job, by difficulty and skill, some professions are covered under an award, which makes the wage higher. People working in construction, like brickies, carpenters, stonemasons, that kind of thing, their minimum wage is roughly about $30 an hour. So cleaners, they get paid roughly $25 an hour, and then people that work in the fast food industry get paid roughly about $26 an hour. Now, those are minimum wages, and most people working in some trades like the mining industry, where the minimum rates are actually only about to the $26 mark, will refuse to work for under $40 an hour. And that's okay because the mining companies will pay that. Here in Australia, we also have a really good work-life balance, and we take sick and holiday pay seriously. Each full-time employee is entitled to 2 weeks of sick pay and 4 weeks of annual leave as well. Oh, and don't forget long service leave too. Now, depending on if the employee is required to bring their own tools to work, you'll also get paid a tool allowance as well. Location allowance is also a big thing here, and especially in rural areas of Australia, which have the higher cost of living due to their location. Workers are often paid an allowance for working in these areas or for having to move to the Pacific location. Western Australia has a large list of towns that location allowance must be paid, but the price differs from location. So for example, places like Coolgardie or Boulder, which is only about 6 hours away from Perth, require a $10 bonus, where places like Argyle, Kununurra, Wyndham, Marble Bar, they're paid roughly a $60 allowance, as these places are an extreme distance from Perth. So where's all this money coming from? Well, remember when I said wealth for toil? Well, Australia is full of natural resources. The mining industry in Australia is one of the largest employers due to the money it generates from our precious land. We mine natural gas, zinc, nickel, bauxite, manganese, lead, cobalt, coal, uranium, lithium, petroleum, diamonds, aluminium, copper, gold, and our largest one is iron ore. There's probably a lot more I could add to this one, and definitely some that I don't even know how to pronounce. And with all that mining money, it goes into paying a lot of money in taxes. Now, no one likes the idea of taxes, but our tax money does go towards paying for a lot of things like Medicare. Medicare is Australia's universal healthcare system, and it's not perfect, but it does wonders in lowering the cost of healthcare to Australians. I recently underwent hospital care and needed emergency surgery due to bowel cancer. I've had 3 different stays in hospital, multiple scans and tests over the last 3 years that have been 100% free due to our Medicare system. And for those that are concerned, I'm cancer free now and I'm considered low risk, so I'm all good. So going back to mining money, there are many other industries that also benefit off of this one as well, and that high income has also made home ownership for many Australians possible. So don't expect a first homeowner to be able to afford a pad in, say, the inner city of Sydney, but stepping away from the city, it's doable. Great urban planning has allowed for our growing cities to allow for smaller, more affordable dwellings. And with smaller dwellings, the downside is the loss of a sizable backyard, but what makes up for it is the quick access to public parks and recreational facilities. Australia also has great easy access to our amazing nature trails that get us out into the bush. Us Australians like to boast about the outback, but it's not as outback as you think. Our national park system have protected our precious flora and fauna that are extremely unique to this part of the world. There are many local bushlands scattered throughout our urban areas that are protected for our plants and animals, like our kangaroos and even the bird life, which is even mentioned on a Joe Rogan podcast. Yes, we have lots of parrots and they are everywhere. These places are absolutely beautiful and it's something to be proud of. Not only do we have one of the most beautiful natural landscapes, did you know that we have some of the cleanest air in the world too? But you'll have to come to Australia to try that one out for yourself. Not only is our air some of the cleanest, but so is our water. Drinking water straight from the tap is perfectly healthy here. Now, I know that this is the case for most of the Western countries around the world, but it is something that we do tend to take for granted, as many places around the world can't. So what are we free from? Discrimination of religion. Here in Australia, we have the Religious Freedom Act. That means that you can practice your religion without prejudice. So whether you're a Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Hindu, Jew, atheist, or even a Jedi, you have the right to practice your religion in Australia. Now, not everything is free. We do, however, have gun control. Now, we understand Americans just don't get it, but us Aussies, we see it as a good thing. We do have guns, but only certain people are fit enough to be able to obtain one. And most Aussies don't even care to feel that they need one. Gun licenses are granted to those with rural properties who have to deal with pests like foxes and rabbits, for those that are part of a gun club who like to go to shooting ranges. Because there is few people who own a gun in Australia, gun violence is something that we don't have to worry about on a daily basis. But if you don't like that, you're free to vote for a politician who might, but I doubt there will be one anyway. Here in Australia, you have the right to vote. So once you turn the age of 18 years old, you're legally an adult and you now have the right to vote privately, meaning that you're allowed to keep your ballot private. The voting system here in Australia is fair, where each vote is counted, unlike some countries where somehow the same leader miraculously keeps winning despite the public's hatred of that leader, if you get what I'm saying. Oh, and you can't forget your right to a democracy sausage. And with all those things that make Australia great, we do have one secret thing, and that is chicken salt. So I hope you come, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.